Hi, everyone. I'm Dan Abrams, and this is Court Cam.
All the buzz are calling.
Take him back! Take him out!
You die in prison as well. When were you legally insane?
When was I legally insane? Well, I think technically I'm legally insane now.
First, we're in Nashua, New Hampshire, for the trial of 21-year-old Christopher Gribble. He's charged with first-degree murder, attempted murder, conspiracy to commit burglary, and a number of other charges. Gribble and 3 other young men allegedly broke into the home of David and Kimberly Cates, armed with a machete and a knife. They didn't know the victims, and investigators say their intention was to rob them. On the night of the crime, husband David was away on business, and Kimberly was in bed with her 11-year-old daughter, Jamie. When Gribble and his accomplices discovered the 2 in the master bedroom, they allegedly brutally stabbed them dozens of times and left them for dead. Kimberly died from her wounds, but Jamie miraculously survived, though she suffered multiple life-threatening injuries. After a friend of Gribble tipped off police, the suspected assailants were all arrested. During this police interview, Gribble confessed and offered graphic details about the attack.
I heard him hit the mom, and so I dove in and stabbed her a few times in the chest. I was controlled, but I didn't really feel much of anything. Steve hacked her a couple more times after that and threw the blanket over, but she was still breathing.
Yeah.
So I went over and stabbed her in the side of the neck.
When charged with the crime, Gribble pled not guilty by reason of insanity. At trial, the defense attempted to prove the defendant was insane at the time of the crime. But when Gribble took the stand, the prosecution, led by Jeffrey Strelzin, did their best to prove he was of sound mind the night of the attack. You're saying you're legally insane?
I'm saying as my defense, yes.
Do you not believe in your defense?
I do believe in my defense.
You're a careful criminal, right?
Yes.
You had gloves on while you were in the case home, right?
Yes, I did.
And that was so you wouldn't leave behind any fingerprints.
Yes.
Don't want to get in jail, and you do want to get out, right?
That'd be nice, yes.
With the victim's husband, David Cates, watching from the gallery, the prosecution painted Gribble as a calculated killer who actually enjoyed the attention. You actually told Dr. Attias about a month ago that the people in the jail... Is that one of those times when you did that smile? Is that one of those times when you can kind of fake your body language?
Oh.
Today?
No, I smile because it's funny that all the people in there have no idea who they're messing with.
Well, they may not, but you'd agree the Cates family certainly knows how dangerous you are, right?
Well, yes.
After hearing all the evidence, the jury deliberated for 2 hours before returning a verdict.
Do you find him not guilty by reason of insanity or guilty?
The jury found him guilty.
The jury found Gribble guilty on all charges. Later that day, Judge Abramson hands down the sentence.
You are sentenced in New Hampshire State Prison where you will remain incarcerated for life without any possibility of parole.
As for the 3 others involved in the crime, 17-year-old Stephen Spader, who also admitted to killing Kimberly Cates, was sentenced to life without parole. Quinn Glover and William Marks, who were both involved in the break-in, but not the actual killings, reached plea agreements with the state. Glover received a minimum of 20 years in prison for robbery, burglary, and conspiracy, and Marks was sentenced to at least 30 years for conspiracy to commit murder.
I didn't think about the consequences. All I think about my daughter.
Next, we're in Pontiac, Michigan, for the sentencing of Brian Randolph. 6 months earlier, the 23-year-old was caught on this security camera as he entered a credit union. Inside, he handed the teller a note demanding money, claiming he had a concealed shotgun, and ended up walking out with $8 grand in cash. But this wasn't a typical holdup. When Randolph was arrested 2 days later, he claimed he stole the money to pay for chemotherapy treatments, costing thousands of dollars for his 1-year-old daughter who suffers from cancer. Investigators discovered he was telling the truth. some of the money from the robbery was used to get his daughter's insurance reinstated. Might sound like a Robin Hood story, but the prosecution wasn't buying it.
Didn't go on a shopping spree. When he was arrested in his car, there was a receipt inside the Gucci bag from 8/13, the day after the robbery. Purchased a t-shirt for $190, a pair of slippers for $160.
Now, before the judge hands down his sentence, Brian Randolph speaks for himself.
First, I'd like to apologize to the court. All I wanted was for my daughter to get her treatments. And even though what I did was wrong, they immediately got her insurance cut back on. I never harmed no one. Never going to hurt anyone. I'm not a bad person at all.
Despite his apology, Judge James Alexander appears unmoved.
But very, 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 very few people decide the way they deal with their tragedy by going to rob a bank. And then tell the media, oh, I did it to save my daughter while your brother in Chicago going on a shopping spree. And now you stand here in front of me and you tell me what a wonderful guy you're not. You're not your bank robber.
Judge Alexander hands down the maximum allowable sentence, 45 months to 25 years in prison for robbery. Brian Randolph served the minimum, 3 years and 9 month sentence before being paroled.
Please have mercy on Christine and I. We still have a chance to parole me as husband and wife.
Next, we head to Union, South Carolina, the sentencing of Jeremy and Christine Moody, who are all smiles as they stand before the judge. No, they are not exchanging vows. They're already married. They're also neo-Nazis who were found guilty of first-degree murder in the killing of Charles Parker and his wife Gretchen. The Moody's targeted Parker, who they did not know, after seeing his address in a sex offender state registry. The couple also believed God wanted them to eliminate all sex offenders. Surveillance footage from the Parker home helped police locate the killers, as did Jeremy's tattoos, including skinhead written across his neck, white power atop his head. When the couple were questioned, they didn't deny their guilt. In fact, they both not only confessed, they told authorities they planned to kill more sex offenders. The Moody's pleaded guilty to murder, kidnapping, and burglary. They're in court asking Judge Lee Alford for mercy, as well as the minimum sentence of 30 years in prison.
That's George.
Your Honor, I was able to find that I don't regret it. I know what I've done is a sin, and I believe that God has forgiven me of it. Please have mercy on Christine and I so we can still have a chance to grow old together as husband and wife.
Next, it was Christine Moody's chance to plead for forgiveness.
The Bible clearly states thou shalt not kill. I'm sorry I broke that commandment, but I truly believe God has forgiven Jeremy and I. I hope you will too. Your Honor, please see it that Jeremy and I are sentenced to the same sentence of 30 years. Never kissing my husband or feeling his touch again is my very worst nightmare. Please give us a light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you.
After taking in their words of remorse and request to remain together, it's now all up to Judge Alford.
We didn't kill the people. They had no way to defend themselves. I tell you, I would be concerned that they would do exactly the same thing. Any question? I think it is a case that Justice Segura demands a license.
After hearing their sentences, the murderous couple share a final kiss before they're separated. But as they exit the court, whatever remorse they tried to convey has quickly disappeared. Outside the courthouse, the Moody's continue to express their true feelings.
I think Jeremy and I would have done it again if given the opportunity.
Do you have any regrets?
I have no regrets. Killing that pedophile was the best day of my life.
What about not being able to see Jeremy?
Jeremy and I have a love that will withstand this.
What about what you said in court about repenting? Is that not true then?
No, it's not true. My lawyer made me say it.
Do you have anything to say to the victim's family?
May they die also.
Jeremy and Christine Moody were both sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole.
Okay, next fellow is Joseph Jerome Batten.
We're in the Broward County Bond Court in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The defendant is Joseph Jerome Batten, who's been charged with trespassing at a local track and casino for the second time in 2 months.
How you doing, Your Honor? I do have a history, Your Honor. Can I speak to you, Your Honor?
In the past 2 years, Batten's made quite a habit of trespassing at local casinos. He's been convicted of it more than 10 times. He knows the bond court drill, and he's not looking to resolve his case as the public defender suggested.
I already know I got a history. This man ain't said nothing to me now time in here this morning. All right, Your Honor? I'm just being frank with you. That's the only place I go. Only thing I do, as you can see, is nothing but trespassing. Cause that's my only entertainment. Alright, is go to the track. And I like for you to make an offer. If I like it, I accept it.
Batten has just requested an offer of minimal jail time from the judge, and he's hoping it's an offer that'll work for him. He's also seemingly taken his case into his own hands.
You discharging your public defender at this time, sir?
No, I ain't discharging, but he ain't presented the way I wanted to be presented. I ain't say resolve this. I say make an offer, which is how much time, whatever it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I want to resolve it in that frame, in that fashion, sir.
As his attorney attempts to rejoin the conversation, Batten doesn't let him.
Judge, I've explained to Mr. Batten not to talk about the facts of the case.
Ain't no facts. We ain't going to trial. I'm asking you to make an offer, y'all. Straight up. The history, proof is indicated when I'm arrested, so it ain't nothing. You know what I mean? All it is trespassing. Simple trespassing.
Batten's presentation is compelling enough to convince Judge John Contini to follow through on the request.
I understand, and I'm going to respect your request, sir. I'm going to go ahead and offer you a chance to be, if you were to plead no contest at this time, sir. I would offer you an adjudication. You'd be convicted, of course, as you have indicated. You have many of those already. And you'd be in, the plea offer would be 45 days in the Broward County Jail.
Judge Contini has extended an offer. Now the ball is in Batten's court.
Well, nah, I ain't gonna set 45 days, so I did 30 days last time, just a week ago. But my birthday coming up, I'm hoping you can say a week or two, and I agree with that, you know what I mean? 45 days, nah, I think my regular judge let me out before 45 days.
Well, you can already tell I'm not really a regular judge.
Judge Contini explains since Batten is a repeat offender, 45 days in jail is a reasonable sentence.
Sir, you have a real history, and you've already indicated that's what you do, and that's what you're going to continue to do. And so
yeah, but ain't nobody been hurt. I ain't never intoxicated. I'm always bringing money to them places.
I respect your decision. I respect your decision. Your decision is to decline the offer at this time. Is that right?
All right. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to set the 45 days.
Okay. All right.
And in the end, Joseph Batten did not serve 45 days. He eventually appeared before a different judge, pled no contest to trespassing, and received just 17 days in jail. Next, we're at the city courthouse in St. Louis, Missouri. Longtime couple Don Wofford and Tawana Bass are joined by a justice of the peace and finally tying the knot after 20 years together.
John Lamar Woodford and Tawana LaToya Bass lawfully wedded wife. Tawana, I wed thee. I pledge to you forever. And I pledge to you forever. My faith.
After Woolford recites his vows, his soon-to-be wife, well, she's not quite ready to recite her vows yet.
And I am telling you, I'm not going. You're the best man I'll ever know, and there's no way I can.
As you can hear in the background, others in the courtroom take notice of the bride's powerful voice.
You're the best man I'll ever know.
But someone wants... As a surprise to her husband, Tawana belts out Jennifer Holliday's And I'm Telling You from the musical Dreamgirls.
I'm staying, and you're gonna love me.
Yes, good morning.
Next, we go to bond court in Miami-Dade County. Judge Mindy Glazer presiding. The defendant is MMA fighter John Chavez. He's been charged with aggravated assault, burglary, and eluding police. The incident occurred after Chavez learned his mother filed a protection order against him. Once in her home, he allegedly smashed a cell phone, broke her glasses, and picked up a large kitchen knife. Chavez then took off as police arrived, and a manhunt ensued, forcing several schools in the area to go on lockdown. The defendant, who stands 6'2" and weighs 220, has a violent past that includes assault and battery charges. He was eventually captured in a neighbor's backyard near his mother's home. After his arrest, he's brought before Judge Glazer to learn if he'll get bail.
Sir, you were arrested for burglary to an occupied dwelling. It's from March 22nd. You have another case, aggravated assault, from March 21st. I'll appoint the public defender's office for you. Is he also out on felony bond?
Yes.
This is actually Chavez's second appearance before Judge Glazer in less than a week.
Good afternoon, sir. You were arrested for...
Just a few days before the alleged attack on his mother, he was arrested for possession of a firearm by a felon. When the gun turned out to be a toy, the charges were dropped. But a kitchen knife is no toy, and today, Judge Glazer may not be as lenient. The public defender makes her case.
As to the aggravated assault, Judge, there's no indication here that this gentleman ever threatened the alleged victim in this case.
Now it's up to Judge Glazer to make her decision.
There is probable cause for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. They didn't charge it that way, but that's what it is.
Chavez does not look happy, but Judge Glazer isn't finished.
Sir, you're ordered to stay away from, is it your mother, Iris Chavez. No contact with Ms. Chavez, either directly, indirectly, in person, in writing, by telephone, or through third parties. No contact.
But what he may not realize is, because he's at a different location than the judge, he can only be heard when his attorney presses this button. So he keeps on trying. No mic, no problem. Chavez won't give up. As far as his charges, for aggravated assault, the judge sets bond at $7,500. As for the burglary charge, the defendant is not so lucky.
I'm setting at no bond. There's probable cause for armed burglary. Had a knife in an enclosed area. Sir, I know it's upsetting right now for you.
Chavez grows more incensed.
Sir, I know you're upset. I'm sorry. Corrections. Can you take him out?
Not much seems to be happening, so the judge tries again.
Corrections.
Yes, they're coming out.
The charges against Chavez are ultimately dropped, and he's released. And 8 months later, he's convicted on new burglary charges. And he's sentenced to 7 years and 10 months in a Florida prison.
Okay.
That's it for this edition of Court Cam. I'm Dan Abrams. Thanks for watching.